Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion, and this will be the second out of 3 videos reviewing the IPL mini auction activity of each of the 10 franchises. I covered MI, CSK and GT in the previous video. I'll be starting things off by covering the Lucknow Super Giants. I thought they should go for a couple of Indian seamers, especially for one reputed Indian seamers to start alongside Mohsin Khan and one of Naveen Haq and Mark Wood. I thought they should go for a couple of Indian power hitters and also a backup for Marcus Stoinis as an overseas all-rounder that can build some seam. And with their second overseas player, of course, with the players that you've got in this squad, they most likely wouldn't play. And before the Naveen Haq ban situation cropped up, which I don't know how much it would affect his proceedings or participation in the IPL, people are saying they've bought someone else just to cover for him, but I don't know how that would work. I thought they could maybe buy another backup for their overseas batsman, considering your Carl Mayers as a backup for Quinton de Kock. And if he doesn't go as well, if you want another backup for someone else, and you've only got Carl Mayers as the one overseas player, so I thought they could sign another top order batsman. And instead, what they signed, or who they signed rather, they've signed Shivam Mavi for 6.4 crores is a good signing. I thought they could sign Harshal Patel for 6 crores with others going for him. He went for 11.75 million, so they couldn't sign him. Shivam Mavi, I'd say he'd go for 6 crores. He's gone for 6.4, so relatively accurate there. M. Siddharth for 2.4 crores, a local spinner. Ashin Kulkarni, a steal for 20 lakh. And Mohammad Rashid Khan, I wouldn't have signed him, but they've signed him for 20 lakh. They didn't have too much to do. There were only 3 headline signings they could have made, with one of those being correctly signing Shivam Mavi for 6.4. And I don't understand 2 of the signings. One, I know this whole Naveen Haq ban situation, but if you wanted to sign a bowling all-rounder, why would you let go of Romario Shepherd for 75 lakh and then sign David Woody for 2 crores? I mean, what value do they see in that? I just don't understand. And secondly, if something happens to Marcus Stoinis, pretend he loses form, who have you got on the bench? Ashton Turner, who, yes, he had a good season in other leagues, I think, this year. But is he going to bowl those overs of seam? No, he's not. I would have signed David Visa, like I said in that preview video. For 1 lakh, he would have been a steal, a fantastic backup for Marcus Stoinis. And instead, you're signing someone who bowls spin once in whenever. And again, I just don't understand it also. Then not too much to do. But for 13.15 crores, they've made one good signing in Shivam Mavi, maybe a second in Ashin Kulkarni. I expected them to sign that other Indian power hitter, and they haven't done that. Mohammad Rashid Khan is not going to play, and if you're expecting him to be that power hitter when you've already got Ashin Kulkarni there, so it doesn't make sense signing Mohammad Rashid Khan. And David Willey, after releasing Romario Shepherd and signing David Willey for 1.25 crores more, I really don't get that. And Ashton Turner, again, it just shows you play for, you don't even play for Australia, but you're from Australia, you play for Namibia. There's a different image that goes with that, so they sign Ashton Turner, so I don't get it. So overall, I don't think they've had a great auction, but did they need to have as good of an auction? Because apart from Shivam Mavi, that completes their side now, because you've got Devdutt Padikkal, Quinton de Kock to open the by, Nicholas Puran 3, KL Rahul 4, Deepak Hooda 5, Marcus Stoinis 6, Ronald Pandya 7, Shivam Mavi, we use the impact sub also, but then you got Shivam Mavi, Mohsin Khan, Naveen Haq as the bowlers. Because of the impact sub situation, would they want to, I mean, I don't know how they'd get to play Amit Mishra, because they may feel afraid and think Krishnappa Gautam will hit a 6, is the reason why I thought if they somehow got that Harshal Patel buy ahead of Shivam Mavi for that price, which would have been difficult in the end, then it would have been okay. But overall, because of the match winners in this side, and especially playing at home on that slow surface, and even if as far as the batting goes, they'll be good anywhere. As far as the bowling goes, especially playing at home on that particular surface, I think they'll be okay. So I think they will be in the race to qualify. They've qualified in the first 2 seasons. They've not been tactically the most strongest side. I think they'll continue not to be a tactically strong side. But when you've got such match winners there, then even if you do things slightly incorrectly, you could still make it. So I think they should make it to the playoffs. And now on RCB, who have they bought? So before the auction, I'd say they should look to get an overseas Indian fast bowler to lead the attack alongside Mohammad Siraj, an experienced Indian wrist spinner. I'd said they should look to get also a reputed Indian seamer as well. I thought since they released Harsha Patel for 10.75, yes, with the slow balls, he wouldn't go too on Bangalore, but to buy back a reputed Indian seamer, I thought they should go up to a decent amount for him. And I thought they should buy an Indian power hitter as well as maybe another Indian seamer as well, and a backup overseas seamer for that lead team. Since I thought Reece Topley, he would not go too well in Bangalore, and secondly, given his injury situation, will he be fit in time for the IPL? I didn't know. And also given a suggestion to say, if he wanted to save funds to get that gun overseas fast bowler who starts in the side, you don't need to get that backup straight away. You could, of course, snap someone up at the end, which they did, but also if Reece Topley pretend gets injured leading up to that, not that I want him to, but his injury situation has been like that, then you could get a quality international fast bowler in place of him at base price. And what did they do? Well, I'd said they should go for Mitchell Starc at 12 crores. Instead, what they did was they went all the way up to 20 crores for Pat Cummins, who at the Chinnaswamy, especially after bowling the first 2 overs or so, he would have really gone for runs. And I don't quite know what to say about this auction, really. They bought Azari Joseph for 11.5 crores after letting Gerard Coetzee go for 5. They bought Tom Curran. When is he going to play? Why did they even buy him in the IPL considering his recent form? I don't know. They bought Yasdiyal for 5 crores when they've bought... context, you've got Gerard Coetzee going for 5 crores, Dulshan Madhushankar going for 4.6, the Mumbai Indians. You combine those two and you don't get an Azari Joseph in terms of price. You've got Gerard Coetzee going for 5 crores, same as Yasdiyal, when you're fighting for someone who, in Bangalore, would he go well? Being a swing bowler, not quick, no, he wouldn't go. And you've already got Azari Joseph and Mohammad Siraj to bowl the new balls. So where are you going to bowl Yasdiyal? Which even then I don't know. They've got 4 overseas. Lockie Ferguson was a signing that again I thought he would go to RCB, and they got him. I'm not surprised by that at all. And it was a good signing because really, if you're looking at those 4 fast bowlers, which is the one that's really going to be able to limit the damage at their home venue? It would be Lockie Ferguson, but they've paid 11.5 crores for Azari Joseph. They will start him, so I don't get that at all. And they've not bought that second Indian wristman. They bought Swapnil Singh as a backup for, I think, Mayank Dagar. And they confused the auctioneer at the end when we all thought we'd finished. They bought Saurabh Chauhan, who's apparently an attacking Indian batsman, for 20 lakh. And if they're going to back him, it's okay. But the problem is, you got all these other 4 or 5 players, like I suggested in my preview video, where you haven't backed them at all, but you're still retaining them all the time. So yeah, how the 11 would go, I've gone with Faf du Plessis, Virat Kohli, Rajat Patidar, Maxwell, Green, Lomrod, Dinesh. So the batting looks okay. Then you've got Mayank Dagar, a good defensive finger spinner. You've got Karan Sharma having to play. Who's his backup? Himanshu Sharma. I don't think I need to say more. I'm not even saying he's a bad player, but they've not tried him. And in terms of experience, leading Murugan Ashwin for 20 lakh is ridiculous. Azari Joseph, the big signing, 11.5 crores. He's a very good bowler, but he won't do much in the Chinnaswamy. And Mohammad Siraj, the lone warrior. So I don't get that at all. Yasdiyal at 5 crores, even if he plays, he won't. I don't think the conditions suit his bowling, which is why I think in terms of a bowling, another bowler who you want to get in, I would go for Vijay Kumar Vishak. Even though you spent 5 crores on Yasdiyal, I would go for him instead of him, because in this case, Azari Joseph's strength is with a new ball. Mohammad Siraj will open the bowling. So if you play both Joseph and Yasdiyal and you don't use one, if you use Azari Joseph like the West Indies use him, where for some reason he gets brought on in the 5th change and gives 40 runs in 3 overs, if you use him in that way, we may see records being broken. So really, as far as compiling a bowling attack, this has to be one of the worst auctions I have ever seen, maybe even the worst. And look at the backups. Will Jacks is not going to play because Faf du Plessis, Glenn Maxwell, Cameron Green playing all the games. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but Will Jacks isn't going to play. Tom Curran, again, he's not going to play. And second of all, you've got 4 obviously seamers there, all filling different roles. Reece Topley, swing bowler. Lockie Ferguson, middle overs and end overs. A hit the deck bowler, can bowl at the death. Azari Joseph, an opening bowler who looks to get the movement off the surface. Tom Curran, a slower bowler. So you've got 4 bowlers all for different. They're not even a backup for each other. All you're doing is, let's try this one. Let's see if he works. If he doesn't, let's try the other one. Just alternate rounds. So I don't get what they're going to do with this bowling attack. And this is what I said even before. So you've retained the 4 or 5 players who you've not even given a chance to before. Anuj Rawat, Shreyas Prabhu, they're saying the roles that they'd like to go with. Manoj Bandage, Rajan Kumar, Himanshu Sharma, very rarely. You've retained those 5 players, and I mean, like I said, you've only got 6 slots going into the auction, or I think a couple of slots going to the auction. I think they had 6 slots. So are those 6 slots enough to fill the holes in this team? No, they're not. But you've retained players who's Dinesh Karthik's backup? Is Anuj Rawat Dinesh Karthik's backup? Is Shreyas Prabhu, they say, is a number 3 Dinesh Karthik's backup? No, they're not. So I don't get what they're going to do. We'll have to see how they go, because with this bowling attack, especially, you may think I'm being extremely pessimistic, but no matter how the bowlers bowl, even if they bowl the best that they would have ever bowled, I would still say going into this season, especially playing at home, this side will struggle immensely. The batsmen will have to score 250 runs or so to try and defend it. I mean, I don't know what to say. We'll have to see how this goes. But I mean, I'm very, very. I thought they were gonna have a bad auction, but I didn't think they were gonna have 4 fast bowlers in their squad who don't complement each other, and they'll start the one guy that doesn't suit the surface either. So, I don't get that at all. So let's see how they go. And now the Punjab Kings, and especially on one signing I suggested they could make in a preview video, I put my hand up and suggesting they could sign Dwayne Pretorius as a Sam Curran backup or starter ahead of him at base price, considering the venues that they would play their home games at. It was a very ordinary suggestion. But if you're looking at the players who could have filled that role, I'd have been him, who wouldn't have been a great fit. And secondly, David Vita, who I think would have been, I think in hindsight, a much better signing. I'd say other teams should go for him, but Punjab could have gone for him if they wanted a backup, and I think he would have started ahead of Sam Curran, especially at home, and maybe even other places as well, because Curran's not been in great form. I also said they could have switched out the templates slightly as well, because Indian wicket-taking spinners is what they needed, and I feel that you don't know how many of those would be around, apart from maybe the 2 experienced ones that I've mentioned quite a few times now. So if they get a wrist spinning overseas all-rounder, very obvious who that would be. And then you get an Indian team as well. I thought maybe that would address that point, that he could fill the Sam Curran role with the bat, while he wouldn't be as explosive, but also could provide that vital wicket-taking wrist spinner role to improve the bowling attack on that front. I also said they should buy 2 domestic power hitters, one to start and one as an impact sub in the absence of Shah Rukh Khan. I think those were generally the players that said, and a backup for Johnny Bairstow as well. And who they go and get, and the thing is, of course, another year, Punjab Kings, a ridiculous auction, Harshal 11.75 crores, where this is an Indian reputed steamer, but playing in Dharamshala and Mohali are slow balls going to be in effect? No, they aren't. Chris Wokes, I mean, me suggesting them signing Dwayne Pretorius at base price wasn't a great suggestion, but they've gone and signed Chris Wokes at 4.2 crores. I mean, he's not even a backup for Sam Curran, because Sam Curran, you'd think of him to be bowling at times up front, but especially at the death. Chris Wokes is a swing bowler. He would not be able to bowl at the death and would struggle, especially in Punjab's home venues. And he's not even a like-for-like with the bat, because he can hit a bit at the end, but Sam Curran can do that better and can float up and down the order, so he's not even a backup for him. Friday is for 8 crores. Now, in my preview, I'd said Johnny Bairstow would bat at 3 on my side, because, and others may think differently, I get that, because he would do well opening, maybe better opening than batting, but I thought perhaps Simran Singh has done well the previous season, and it would be more intimidating after he gives a fast start, and then you've got Johnny Bairstow at 3, rather than Johnny Bairstow giving a start, getting out, and then perhaps Simran batting out of position. They've signed Riley Rizzo at 8 crores, which I don't get. And what I'm trying to say is, they could have signed him at 2 crores. They waited to get other players. They didn't get them. They had 12 crores to go before signing Rousseau. And Delhi Capitals tried to bid for him, take him at 2 crores. And you know what players you want. So from not bidding for him when you know you'll get him at 2 crores and you go and sign him for 8 crores, it's ridiculous. And if they're looking to do what others say they should do, which is a fair suggestion from Johnny Bersow's point of view, just open the banning with him, then signing Rousseau makes far less, completely no sense. He won't play, which is why I would have signed someone like a Josh Inglis at base price. He can open the batting and a bat at 3. So a ridiculous signing that for 8 crores. And they haven't signed that Indian power hitter as a replacement for Shah Rukh Khan. And you've got a nightmare situation where pretend, and we know with Punjab Kings, if Sam Curran doesn't do well, Chris Wilkes will play ahead of him. I guarantee you that. And if Shashank Singh doesn't go well either, you've got a nightmare situation where you've not got batting past number 5, considering where they play as well. The bowling will give over 200 runs consistently, and this will be a season to forget for Punjab again. So I expected a poor auction. Then when RCB, I said going to the auction that they would be the team they look like they'll struggle. I knew they'd have the auction that they have. RCB, it was quite ridiculous seeing it unfold. We've seen this for Punjab Kings quite a few times, but even then, seeing them spend 4.2 crores for Chris Wilkes and 8 crores for Riley Rousseau, I didn't get that at all. So yeah, that's on that. So, and now finally for this video on the Rajasthan Royals, going into the auction, I thought they should sign an overseas runner to bat at 3 or 4 depending on who they sign. Maybe a backup power hitter, could be an all-rounder at that number 5 kind of slot or so. Then an overseas backup, a fast bowler for Trent Bolt, and also a couple of Indian finishers, at least one as a backup for Dhruv Jurel and Riyan Parag. I don't know why they released Murugan Ashwin, who would have been a reserve for Isvinder Chahal as an experienced Indian wrist spinner. I thought if with whatever they have left, they should sign a finger spinner who can bat a bit as a backup for Ravichandran Ashwin. In the end, they signed Rovman Powell for 7.4 crores, Nandre Berger, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, Shubham Dubey for 5.8, happy for a domestic player, and I think Abid Mushtaq. So, on the signing of Rovman Powell, it shows the conflicting perspectives on a certain player, where Delhi may have released him because they thought, right, when spinners bowled him, how would he fare, especially at our home venue. And even for the West Indies, especially off late, he's been more of a pace hitter. And that's why I thought he could do a job for a side at number 6. In this case, if they're planning him to be that overseas all-rounder in the top 4, you're going to bat him at number 4 potentially in a venue where spinners will come into play a lot. So it shows the conflicting perspectives on a player, but in my side, I know the graphic says differently, but what I would do is I would try out Dhruv Jurel at number 4 first as an impact sub, Shimron Etmai at 5, Rovman Powell 6, Riyan Parag 7, Ravichandran Ashwin 7, which would be a fantastic lineup. Now, what I wanted them to do is, you've got a lot of hitters here, and if you want someone that can also go at a very good rate with bat time and also add some overs as well, Rovman Powell, it's not a given he's going to give you 2 overs. And that's why I would have signed Rachin Ravina to bat at number 3. That's why I said depending on who they sign. And Sanju Samson at number 4. So it's not that you've got someone who bats slowly at number 3. He's a fantastic player who can score briskly as well in a classical manner. And then you've got the others to go hammer and tongs. So that's what I would have done. But they've signed Rovman Powell. And I think that if Dhruv Jurel can make that number 4 slot his own, then you'll see this power pack lineup come to life. Nandre Berger, is he a like-for-like backup for Trent Bolt in terms of that? Would he be like a Dilshan Madhushankar, for example? No, he wouldn't. And Madhushankar, I'm very happy for him that he's gone for 4.6, so I couldn't sign him in the end. But they've gone for Nandre Berger, who's a very good prospect. I'm very happy for Tom Kohler-Cadmore. You've seen what he's done in the T10 and in every league he's played. I don't know why he's not playing for England. And he would be a backup opener for Josh Butler, who may not be available for the whole season. But if there was a backup you'd want to get from him, and that kind of price as well, then Tom Kohler-Cadmore would be the guy. And Shubham Dubey, apparently he's a local finisher. CSK has bought Samir Rizvi, then Araz bought Shubham Dubey. So happy for these domestic players that franchises are backing them. And I would never fault franchises for going hard at domestic players, because if they have seen something in that player and therefore they're investing in them, which of course me as a viewer who knows about Indian domestic cricket in terms of the scorecards but not about the individual attributes of those players, if they've seen something in that player then why not? They can get them. So overall, an okay auction. I would have bought a backup with what was left as for Yuzvendra Chahal and R Ashwin, and even he said that in his video. But I think overall, if those two play every game, which you think they should do, this looks quite a good side. And if the only thing is number 4, if Dhruv Jurel can make that number 4 slot his own, whoever bats at 4 can make that number 4 slot their own, this side looks quite a good side. And I think, I think this side, if things go well, should qualify for the playoffs. So that was on these 4 teams. The next video will be the final video of this 3-part review, and stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, but this is my opinion. What's yours?